Neel Kolhatkar.
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 Kolhatkar. There's no roll with a R.
No roll?
No.
Kolhatkar.
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 Yeah. You know, I was always pronouncing it Kolhatkar because
You're whitewashed?
I'm Australian. Yeah, I'm whitewashed. I'm a coconut, but
Coconut?
yeah.
I've never heard that term.
Oh, when you're brown on the outside, white on the inside.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And then when I was 21, my dad said it's actually pronounced Kolhatkar. He said, it took you 21 years to tell me that, man. I'm keeping Kolhatkar.
Can't change now.
I like the emphasis on Kolhatkar.
Kolhatkar?
Kolhatkar, yeah.
You're saying it as an Aussie way, in an Aussie way.
I would just the way I decided to say it.
Kolhatkar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Aussie way.
Yeah.
But a Canadian would be a Kolhatkar.
Kolhatkar?
Kolhatkar.
Nice and polite.
Nice and yeah.
Do Canadians actually say A?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
But you guys say hey.
Yeah, we say hi.
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 Hi, mate.
Hi, mate. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, mate. Fucking hot ass, eh?
Fucking hot ass cunt.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, but you say hey, just like we say a.
Yeah, okay.
It's like oh man, it's I don't know. We're gonna it's pretty busy, eh? You'd be like, oh, it's pretty busy, hey, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you say that?
We sometimes say A, like A. What are you doing? You know what?
No,
if you go to certain areas of Melbourne and Sydney, there's a subgroup of the population called Eshays.
Yeah, I know about Eshays.
David Attenborough documentary, and they all say A a lot. So they A bar, hey. They don't say. So they started saying bro, then it became bra, and now they just say bar.
Bar?
Yeah, A bar, storm bar. So from how's it going, it became what's doing, and now it's storm bar. A bar, storm bar.
That's a whole other language.
Yeah, it's just continually shortening it to
That's
the point
wild.
where
Next thing you know, it's just gonna be like,
just noises.
just,
And they'll be very efficient. Get a
It
lot
would
done.
be very efficient. You're like, oh, I know what that guy's saying. That was a whole paragraph. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He just read a book.
Me too. Like imagine that'll be actually for sure. I'll get there. I'll go back to what is it called, hieroglyphics. You know,
Yeah,
like,
just caveman grunts.
at some point,
For sure.
it's got to loop back
It's
around.
we are going backwards as a species. So
Yeah, you were talking about that, right? Like how like you think, like especially with comedy too, like everything's just fucking, everything's just doomed, eh?
yeah, it feels pretty shit, doesn't it?
Why?
Everything just you look on social media, no one has any money. It's just
So sad.
it's a sad time, man.
Wait, what? Well, it's funny because we were talking a little bit before about how, like, your thoughts on that. So why do you think it's like it's sad?
Oh, I think mainly the economy. Mainly the economy is making people sad. A lot of people getting laid off. A lot of people just don't have any money.
Right.
Yeah. And then you look at the world, there's all these wars going on. You know, you want to think positive. You want to think, all right, I'm still going to be grateful for everything in my life, which I try to do. And I like to think I'm a relatively happy person. But as soon as you just focus on the rest of the world, you're like, wow, this is some Blade Runner shit going on. I think we're actually in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting close to it.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Why do you feel that way?
Like I said, just everything happening, man. All the conspiracy theories turn out to be true.
Like what?
Well, you go back to the Epstein's Island thing. That was a conspiracy theory. That was true. You go back to all the stuff about the vaccines. Everyone who showed any kind of skepticism, now there's AstraZeneca is actually taking their vaccine back off the market because it causes side effects. And then anyone who said it came from China, that was a conspiracy theory. That's now true.
Yeah.
So,
But it's so obvious.
yeah, I know. It was always pretty obvious. But
Yeah. But it's virtue signaling and it's also gaslighting. That's what that is.
It is. It is.
They make you think like you're the idiot, like you're wrong.
Yeah, I think they're trying to maintain a grip on power when they know that power is crumbling.
Yeah. But
I know this is a comedy podcast, but this is
hey man,
it's getting dark.
I told you, we do whatever has to happen.
Okay.
Whatever goes on in this podcast,
However it goes, it goes.
it goes. Okay, we don't censor. We keep it raw. We keep it authentic.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
of
like
course,
that.
man. I mean, like I don't know. I don't care. Like I care. Obviously, I'm just saying like, why like at some point, there's got to be layers. There's got to be more depth too, right? To humans in connection. You know what I'm saying? Because we were talking about like comedy and stuff like that. Like,
sure.
I feel like to have comedy, you have to have layers. You know what I'm saying?
As in the audience has to feel like they can connect with the comedian.
Because we were talking about that too, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you saying like sometimes when you do shows in Australia specifically because you're from here, and like, you know, you have audiences that are like above 50, 60.
Yeah.
You're saying like it's hard for you to connect with them.
Yeah, I just think there's different references. I mean, we've grown up in the online space a lot more. So there's certain references that people over a certain age just don't understand. Do jokes about Ben Shapiro or Jordan Peterson. I mean, maybe now they start to understand it a little bit more, but there's a lot of people that just don't understand.
Is that, do you have like bits on that? Like on doing
I got a few little bits that I'll reference that sort of stuff. But you know, when trends pop up online, even the stuff you do, like when you do David Goggins or even Joe Rogan, like how many people over a certain age they might know him, but would they be able to appreciate the impression because they probably aren't watching him? Yeah, I'm just assuming. I don't know for sure, but there's just a big, there's just disconnects, man. Like we don't live in the same like cultural world anymore. That's all. You
like, yeah, I agree with that. Well, obviously, I feel like every generation is like that, though. There's always something that the next generation just doesn't get, and it annoys you. But
That's
then
true.
when you become that person,
yeah, I'll be that one day.
We are right now. Even.
Well, yeah, probably. Yeah, I look at 12-year-olds. I'm like, what is this?
Like, what
I don't
doing?
look at 12-year-olds.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I don't do that.
We don't cut anything on this podcast, by the way. So that's why
I look at them in a very platonic way. I look at them only when I have to.
Because what you're saying, being first of all, what do you think is the best place in Australia to perform in your experience?
I think Sydney, because I'm from Sydney, so there's a few references that I do that are only understood by people in Sydney. But I also just think Sydney has a culture that, you know, you can kind of make fun of the different subgroups a little bit more. And maybe it's a hometown bias, but I love Sydney. I've actually found Perth is a really good place to perform. People they come out, everyone's really happy and enthusiastic, and they're usually good crowds.
Because it's so sunny and warm over there.
It's so sunny, it's so warm. Everyone there is hot.
Yeah.
Everyone there is a 10.
Oh, you think so?
Totally.
What do you mean?
Every time I go to Perth, everyone is just good looking.
Even the guys?
Yeah.
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 Everyone.
I think it might just be because they're near the beach.
True. That's what I feel like. That's what it is. It's being in such a warm tropical environment.
Yeah.
Naturally, everyone just looks more attractive, or because they feel better. That already naturally just like, you know, they're just more attractive that way.
Yeah,
you know?
because those countries, Norway, Sweden, etc., they've got the highest rates of depression because half of the year it's just darkness.
True.
Because the sun, you know, when you're closer to the ends of the globe, the sun in summer, it's the whole day is sun, and then in winter there's 2 hours of sunlight. And it's freezing cold. That's true. I mean, you're Canadian, you'd know.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty hot, so I don't know what you're talking about.
In winter,
even though it's cold.
How much sun do you actually get in winter?
And we get sun like a little bit, but it's not warm. It's just. But mostly
how many hours of sun do you get in the dead of winter?
Maybe like 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe.
3 hours of sun.
Like it's not. I'm saying the sun itself. It's still bright for like morning until I don't know, like 3:30, 4 p.m.
Oh, okay.
It starts getting a little dark in the winter time.
Yeah.
But that's
3:30.
Mostly if it's been snowing or it's just like overcast and like flurry sometimes.
So would you come home from school and it would be dark?
Yeah. No, legit.
Dude, that's wild.
Legit, bro. There's people who go to work when it's dark, and they leave when it's dark.
That's crazy.
And they go home as dark. They wake up as dark.
Oh, man, that's
the
crazy.
only time they see sunlight is possibly through the window of their work.
Well, of course,
especially if they're 9 to 5.
Of course, that's gonna make you depressed.
Of course. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like it's so. We're talking about how like quality of life in Australia is amongst one of the best, at least in the Western world.
Yeah, it's good here.
Because there are better places, like, if you genuinely want to just, like, fuck off from the world.
Sure.
Like Costa Rica, I don't know, or, like, Fiji, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
Bali,
just saying,
Thailand.
places that, like, aren't as, like, developed, but, like, it's just people who just cherish the simple things of life, it's fine for those people. But like in the world we live in, the best place, the best quality of life, I think, is Australia.
Okay.
Compared to US and Canada. I guess I rope UK into that too, and some European cities. But like,
it is good here.
Huh?
It is good here.
It is.
Quality of life is nice, and there's less, less addicts and homeless in the big cities.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure they all have their story, and there's a very sad story. I'm not trying to dehumanize them by any means.
Yeah, but they live by the beach,
just,
man. So what do you got to be mad about, brother?
Exactly. There actually is a lot of them. They're just hot. We can't tell
they're on fire, dude. Yeah, that beach. Like, how could you be mad?
That's how they shower.
I'd
they
be
get
homeless.
They get in
Fuck
the
it.
beach,
Right?
And then they're clean.
They're clean.
They
Exactly.
swim every day, get their cardio in.
They're doing natural
They're
sunlight.
happy.
Andrew Huberman.
Yeah, they're doing the cold plunge
They're
every day.
cold plunging naturally before Huberman and Wim Hof.
That's it. Andrew Huberman actually just saw them and stole it from them.
Yeah, that's how I actually think.
This is my
biohackers.
hot take. I think Andrew Huberman massively overrated.
What?
I do.
Why?
Well, when he first got big, everyone was like, "Listen to this guy. He has all these insights," and his insight was get sunlight. Like, bro, you're a Stanford professor.
Yeah.
And you're telling people to get sunlight.
Well, I mean,
how do you not know that?
No, most people don't know this.
That sunlight is good.
Yeah.
You
Bro,
think
I swear to God, there's fucking morons walking around
in the darkness.
in the darkness
with an umbrella.
with an umbrella. Literally,
Trying to block
Chinese people
themselves
do
from
that.
They do that.
Legit,
Why do
bro.
they do that?
Right? Isn't that wild?
Is that because they don't want to tan?
Yeah, because it's a culturally significant thing where if they get dark, that means it's a status symbol of like, which means they're more poor.
It's the same in India. If you're
Really?
Yeah, if you're fair skin, you're
Richer?
generally considered much more attractive because it's associated with not working outdoors. So
Right.
yeah, it's a status.
True.
So
That's
they sell whitening cream
What?
in India. Yeah. Yeah,
Like legit?
fairness cream. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and that's one of the first things, particularly old Indians, one of the first things they'll ask when you have a partner, like, is he fair? Is she fair? Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, it's like properly white supremacists.
They got invaded by the British and now they're the British.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that came after that would be an interesting thing to study, if it came after the British, the obsession with fairness, or it was already. I feel like it was already there.
It was already there, probably.
But I don't know.
But still, that's why the Punjabis are usually the more rich ones. Because they're fair skinned.
Well, they're very fair. They're in Bollywood, it's all people from North India.
Which is, Punjab is part of that.
Yeah.
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 And we're actually talking about this because we're like trying to figure out, like, Punjab is its own state, right?
Yes.
It's not a city.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I think, I mean, forgive, I might get this wrong, but I think Kolkata is in Punjab. Maybe not.
Kolkata?
Delhi might be. Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I was curious to know what, if you knew that. But I also learned that in Punjab, it's not mandatory to wear a turban. It's one of the only religions in India, or just in general, I think, that like you don't have to wear the turban if you don't want to. You can still be sick.
Oh, okay.
But you don't have to wear the turban. It's actually a choice.
I think the turban looks good.
I think it looks sick.
Well, I think the I don't know how they level up, but the turban that teenage boys have.
Okay,
that looks terrible.
Terrible.
But
when they level up
the adult turban
the glow
with
up?
the red, yeah, that one is
Woo-hoo!
that one's mad.
It's fire.
But you got to go through that terrible one.
Well, it's the adversity, you know. You got to get through that first level first.
That's the hazing.
Yeah,
that's
the hazing.
Seek hazing right there.
Yeah,
wear the little one first.
You're the year 9. You got to fucking go through it.
One. That one looks sick.
I know, right?
I think it looks really.
It's the final boss that looks like the best.
It looks so nice. It looks so dignified and
Gurwinder.
Yeah.
I'm final boss.
I made it. The final. What's the poker? What does Charmander turn into?
Charizard.
Yeah, that's Charizard.
Yeah, it starts off Charmander with little Gurdeep.
Yep.
And then
Gurwinder.
And then no. After little Gurdeep, it's Charmeleon, which is maybe I don't know, Sukhjit.
Sure.
Sukhjit, right? That's the middle.
Is that the one with the little turban?
It's the second
I've
level.
kind of got that going right now because we're
Like
going to do the Russell Brand sketch.
Yeah.
And so I thought I'd already get the Russell Brand hair going.
That's true. Yeah, it's perfect actually for the Russell Brand series.
Yeah.
Yeah, Indian Russell Brand.
Indian Russell Brand.
Yeah. Didn't you have a joke about that? Or was that you?
No, I do Russell Brand impressions. I don't think I've done Indian Russell Brand. That would be really funny.
I'm trying to even
I'm
think.
trying to think how you'd even do it because
Yeah.
he already has such a unique
Oh,
accent.
so I don't even know.
The
'cause
normal
you don't-
Russell Brand is a bit like, Neema, how are you today? He's very fidgety. He's very up in
Right.
your face. What do you think about politics in the world that we live in today?
Whereas Indian Russell Brand would be like, hello, Neema, what are you? Yes, you can't do it because...
And his name has to be Rakesh.
Rakesh
Yeah,
Brand.
Rakesh Barvinder.
The thing is, Russell Brand kind of is copying Indian guru
Yeah.
fashion.
That's true.
He looks like a Hindu guru.
That's so facts. I actually intuitively thought that my whole life watching Russell Brand.
Yeah.
'Cause I actually loved him. He was one of the first
same.
people. I read his book too.
Yeah, I haven't read
I forget
that.
the name.
It's
one
Bookie,
of the-
my
huh?
Bookie Book or something.
Yeah, something. I don't know. It was one of the first ones. First time I ever even touched a book, to be honest.
Okay.
And I was a comedian. Like I looked up to at the time. I was watching his like little news thing he was doing on Facebook for like in 2014, 2015. I loved it, but I always thought like, man, this guy looks like an Indian guy.
Yeah, he kind of has that aesthetic.
Right.
The loose fitting clothes and a
Yeah.
lot of the bracelets and the beads and
Pretty zen vibes.
long hair. Yeah, yeah.
The book? No.
It says Revolution, Recovery, Mentors, Bookie Book.
Oh, I think
Bookie
there was
Wook
Bookie
is a
Wookie.
funny name, man.
Yeah, literally.
That's
I think it's Bookie
so
Wook.
funny.
Bookie Wook and then Bookie Wook too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Boogie Wook. I remember the cover too was pink on the outsides or something. I think.
Yeah, that's Bookie Wook.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one. Yeah.
He's had a very interesting career, hasn't he? Because he was really immersed in mainstream comedy fame and had his own TV show, married to Katy Perry, and then he just went all entirely independent.
Yeah.
Online, is now more of well, he is a guru himself. Does a lot of social commentary.
He's
Does a
great.
bit of journalism. Now he just got baptized. Very interesting
Really?
man. Yeah.
He's on a spiritual journey of life.
Yeah, he is. Have you found that often? How can I say it? People go one way or the other. Like they'll either be super progressive, but then you could meet them 10 years later, and they're never just in the middle. They're then super religious.
Yeah.
I find that a little bit. I wonder if there's some kind of study or something. But
You're saying people who start off super progressive?
like people will go one extreme to the other,
Yeah.
but they very rarely go from one extreme just to not extreme. You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, because I think that way. Because, it's like, well, actually, for a good example, would probably be like he used to be vegan,
Yeah, okay.
and now
your brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But now, yeah, he's a recovering vegan.
Covering vegan.
Yeah, he always says that. But now we're like pretty much. We started doing carnivore for like a couple months.
Oh,
and
okay.
then now it's just animal based, but like it's pretty much the opposite end.
Wow. Yeah, you find
no
that.
middle, though.
You find that. Yeah, people go on diets. They'll go keto, then vegan, and paleo, then this and that.
Right.
Yeah.
Eventually, you end up on the extreme end because
do
it's
one.
like you specify more. The more you specify, the more extreme it seems.
Sure. How do you
That's why I
feel on carnivore?
What my thoughts are, or like how
How do you
my experience
physically
was?
feel?
I think it was great.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not on carnivore right now. Like the true definition of carnivore, we're more so just animal based, which is pretty much essentially the same thing. It's just we eat meat, butter, cheese, dairy, avocado, some cucumbers, stuff like that. We stay away from nightshades for the most part, like
No.
tomatoes and like
Oh, okay.
I don't know, other kind of vegetables that don't really sit well with us, which is it's actually a thing that both of us can't digest certain vegetables, and most people can't. Like, there's just a lot of things: gluten, sugar, like wheat, stuff like that. Not even a fucking. We don't touch those things
That's
anymore.
so interesting.
I used to eat it a lot, but Yeah, so for the most part, that's the diet.
Okay.
Obviously, once in a while, a little prime, doesn't fucking hurt anyone.
Okay.
But even this is like fucking, I don't know, maybe who knows what the fuck is in this? You know what I'm saying?
I know. Logan Paul semen.
Probably.
I have no idea what's in it, man. Yeah.
So anyway, nonetheless, definitely makes me feel the best.
Okay.
Animal-based has been the best diet I've ever had in my life. In terms of feeling.
Cool.
And also taste. Like it's tough because, you don't know this, but I've been battling a food addiction my whole life. Up until now, like even recently in the past like year or so, whatever, it's pretty much a lot better now.
Oh, good.
There's still tendencies, obviously, because like here's the thing: when you have a food addiction, it's hard to beat because you have to eat every day. So it's like, what other addiction do you know where you have to do the thing every day? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's why, even to this day, sometimes when I feel hungry, extra hungry, I sometimes have those tendencies where I'm like, oh man, I wish I could just eat this fucking burger or eat that slice of pizza or have this donut, But
Sure.
but the amount of thoughts that have come into my brain recently regarding those kinds of foods that I avoid because it's not good for me has decreased significantly in the past year or so.
Okay.
A lot.
Good,
so,
man.
yeah.
That's
But
so good to hear.
Thank you. But that's because of finding something that actually works, which is the animal-based diet.
Interesting.
It's from my experience.
I've only ever heard good things from people who go either carnivore or animal based.
Yeah.
Vegan. I tried veganism for a while.
A lot of Indians, I feel like, get
Yeah,
there.
a lot of it wasn't for religious reasons or anything. I just actually I do believe that it is quite ethical.
Ethical?
Look, you're not.
What do you mean?
Because you are. I mean, animals are living things, man.
Yeah.
And I don't do it anymore because I just can't. But I don't.
Why?
I just
You love
like
beef
the
too
taste,
much.
bro. Like that's it. That's
You just
it.
love meat.
I just love meat, man.
But most people do, though.
I know.
Everybody does.
I know, but
That's
I
how
think
you're-
if you're, it's like it's the most extreme position you can take. But I do believe when vegans say we are causing the least animal suffering, I do think they're correct
Why do you think that?
because they're not contributing to the suffering of those animals.
Directly,
Yes,
you're saying?
yes,
By, like, buying the actual meat.
yes. They're not directly contributing.
But by creating these substitutes for meat,
yeah.
they're actually, in a way, making it worse.
Yeah,
Because
I have
all
heard
the
that. I have
crops
heard
they're
that.
fucking
I have,
up.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
also emitting terrible, poisonous gases into the atmosphere
You're right.
and
That's
ruining
fair.
everything else. You know what I'm saying? So there's that part of it too. And here's the thing: there's so much. You could debate this fucking forever.
Sure. You're right.
But I just feel like my thing with vegans is that it's fine if you want to be ethical about it. Mm-hmm. Because you personally don't want to like hurt an animal, which I don't like hurting animals. But at the end of the day, I feel like you have to do what's right for you first.
Yeah, totally.
Because
it's not.
it's a way of life, to be honest.
The
It's just a circle
optimal
of life.
diet isn't vegan. It
Yeah.
doesn't cover all your health.
Well, that's the thing.
As from what I've understood and what I've read, and I'm not an expert on it,
Right.
but it's sort of it's in the same way how a monk, for example, will be celibate his whole life. It's very obviously it's natural to have sex, but in their worldview, the most ethical thing is to just reduce temptation to
Yeah.
that extreme level. That's how I would
Yeah.
see veganism. It's not a practical thing for everyone to do.
True.
In the same way, the way a monk lives their life is not a practical thing for everyone to do, but they are a symbol of
Purity.
trying to, be pure and getting to an ethical point that not everyone can get to.
Right. Do you believe in that? Like, would you think you could be like a monk?
Hell no, man.
Celibate?
No.
There's a celibacy? Because I don't really know much, but is the celibacy just sex, or is it like any kind of pleasure, like masturbation and stuff like that?
I'd assume every kind of pleasure.
So like they're just not like touching down there at all.
They must not be.
That's wild.
I mean, would they get dreams,
What dream?
when you're a teenager,
I mean, maybe when they're a
creating
teenager, but I feel like when you get older, you don't really.
that's
doesn't happen.
true, but then
Maybe though.
they're wouldn't they still be producing sperm.
Yeah, I don't know. Because here's the thing. I've also heard that it's just from what I've read too. It's good to obviously have that release, but not too much.
Yeah.
But then other people are like, nah, man, it's good to just like not do it at all.
I don't believe that, man.
I don't believe that either.
What's it called? No fap?
No fap.
Oh, I have so much more energy. I mean, when I fap, I still have energy. So I don't know I don't know how these guys are fapping. I do not believe that. I mean,
I think it's.
I guess they're using their sexual frustration and then harnessing that to maybe if you feel really sexually frustrated, maybe you can do a better workout because you're more aggressive or something like that. But
You're saying by not fapping
yeah, possibly.
instead of doing
I've
workout?
gone like a week and
and you were just
you're
like
just
scratching your neck.
horny all the time. It's not nice. It's not like energy. It's just frustration.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wait, but you have a girlfriend,
Yeah.
so like, how does she feel about it? Like,
About what? No fap.
yeah, or just like in general, like you're saying, like, I mean, because you have a girlfriend, so it's different, right? Like, do you feel like you?
Sure. I'll
you
do. Also, when I was single, I think once I did two. I think I did a couple of weeks actually.
Yeah?
Because I was 19. I just wanted to see how long I could go.
Yeah.
And
then just-
it wasn't fun.
No?
You're just
You get blue balls?
just permanently because you're just so horny.
You're right. Yeah.
Particularly after the first week, it's just.
Isn't
It's
that
not
crazy?
worth it. I don't know why. I don't know how
It's
they
not
do.
worth-
From what I've heard, if you do a couple of months, then finally something happens in your body where it accepts, oh, this person is just not going to have sex, and then the feelings actually dissipate. They go away.
Really?
But I don't know if that's entirely true.
The thing is, I don't know because I do think, like, maybe not like fapping and masturbation, but I think, having that natural release is natural. Like but in the right way. The thing is, I don't know what the right way is, but from what I can gather, I feel like it's the best when you have the right partner.
Yeah.
To like do those things with them, because I don't think cavemen were beating their meat. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe they were.
Who knows? That's a good question.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
They
have you ever
probably-
thought about that? I think about that all the time.
There was a study that they showed animals that in the zoo, they all self-pleasure, so they'll masturbate.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Whereas animals in the wild don't do that. So they theorize then that the reason humans self-pleasure and masturbate so much is because we're in a very unnatural environment and we've domesticated ourselves. Whereas in what we're naturally inclined to do is, yeah, of course, pleasure with another person.
right.
So
Not like
it's not
yourself.
Yeah, we shouldn't really be doing that. But
Right. Interesting.
look, if you want to, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Some people have an addiction, and
Oh, that's for sure.
if you're doing it once or twice a day, it's probably
Yeah.
fine.
Once or twice a day.
Twice is probably a lot, actually.
Twice a day, it's fine. You think that?
Well, what is the normal for a dude? What's the normal? I feel like when I was a teenager, I was going twice a day.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like most teenage boys growing up, obviously in those first few years, like anything goes.
Yeah, you just constantly.
Like you're an animal.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't think that's healthy.
No,
I think
not
it's too
healthy,
much.
No.
I think there is a reasonable amount to do if you like, for the right reasons though. It has to be with the right intention, I think.
Sure. And when you're a teenage boy, you have no self-control.
That's what I'm saying.
So you just,
Yeah.
It's weird how we're designed that way.
I know,
where,
right?
When you're a 13-year-old boy, when you're least attractive to the opposite gender, you're the most horny. And then women get hornier as they get older, up to menopause, I think. I could be wrong.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure their horniness increases with age.
What?
Yeah, whereas
Where the hell did you hear that?
males' horniness decreases. I'm pretty
Are you
sure.
serious?
Maybe Google that, but I'm pretty sure that's
Really?
been measured. Yeah,
I've
Yeah.
never heard that.
and it's the theory from what this could be just some bro science,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm sure I've read about this. The theory is that as you're getting closer to menopause and getting older as a woman, your eggs are depleting, so your body is saying the eggs are running out. Go have a child. Go have a child. So
Oh.
you actually get hornier. And
Right.
as a boy, you're the most horny as a teenager because that's when your testosterone is going up and that's when you want to be the most competitive, and it sort of
Right.
compels you to go and hunt and do things and climb a
Yeah.
social hierarchy. So I think that's how we just evolved. But look, man, I'm not Andrew Huberman or I read a few books.
Look at
I
the
read a few
sunlight,
books.
brother.
Look at the sun.
Stare into
Yeah,
the
I'm
sun.
better than him, bro.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah. So it's
I didn't
weird that
realize-
when you come of age as a boy, you are extraordinarily horny, and then the girls at that age are
They're more, they
they're
can compose
less
themselves.
horny, and as they get older, MILFs are the horniest.
That's so wild, man. I mean, it makes sense with the fertility thing. That
It does
they
make
would be
sense,
more
yeah.
aroused. Because there's the way their cycle's working, maybe? I don't know, this is terrible. I think if any women were watching this, they'd be like, these guys have no idea what they're talking about.
Well, I definitely know this. When a woman is ovulating, that's when she's the horniest.
That,
So that's
I
when
actually
she
knew
because
yeah.
that's actually when the egg is there and she can get pregnant.
They're machine gunning. They're just
Yes.
it's a well-oiled machine.
So the body's saying, "Oh, the egg's there. Go
Yeah.
get some dick."
Yeah, get some D. It's time to just get that D, girl. Yeah, that's interesting. How did we get from Russell Brand to ovulating?
Actually, that seems like a pretty clear pipeline.
Seriously, right? Actually, I forgot to finish the last boss name too, because we were going through like the evolution of the Charmander to.
Are we going back to that?
Because sometimes I forget to finish that thought.
What is the law? It goes
Charmander,
Charizard, the
Charmander, Chameleon.
Yeah.
Charmeleon.
And then
Charmeleon. Sorry,
Charizard is-
Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. So
Sure.
Charmander is the fucking little bump
Yep.
for a little Suckjeet. And then the middle one is little Gurwinder. Is like medium Gurwinder.
sure, and then
Okay.
Charizard is the
Charizard's like the
esteemed,
Gurdeep.
stately,
I am here to send wise
manly.
words.
Yeah, just 6'6"
I'm
Punjab
Gurdeep.
guy that
Yeah,
just will.
I own 3 dealerships.
That's it. That's
Lots
it.
of used cars. I have riches in Punjab.
There's a lot of Punjabis in Toronto,
Tons. There's a lot
Yeah.
in a place called Brampton.
right? Okay.
It's called
Is that- and
Brampton.
that's in Toronto, is it?
It's an outskirt of like Toronto area. It's called the GTA, like Greater Toronto Area.
GTA.
Yeah, it's pretty sick,
Nice.
right? But they call it Brampton.
GTA Brampton.
GTA Brampton, yeah.
Dude, and then you actually play as Gurwinder.
Yeah,
That's
sure,
mad.
right? With
That's
the
kinda
turban.
mad.
That's the final boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's so many Indian people in Brampton, they call it Bangladesh.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then
So are they Indian or are they Bengali? Are they from Bangladesh or from India?
no, it's just I think it's just like a funny
Oh, it's
name.
just the
just-
name. Yeah,
just-
sure. Yeah.
But generally Indian.
Yeah.
And overall.
What is, man, what's the politics of Canada like? Because I know you got Trudeau. And then,
Don't
but
even-
then there's that Pierre, is it Pierre
Pierre Poilievre.
Poilievre? He's doing well.
Québécois.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. To be honest, I'm not super into the politics over
Okay.
there. All I know is that JT's a fucking momo.
yeah.
He's a banana. He's a banana.
He's a banana.
Bro, this guy's putting tampons in male bathrooms. Like that matters.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
Like,
so he's pretty.
Listen,
he's
I'm all for-
culturally
he's
very
lost it.
progressive.
Yeah, well,
Sure.
past progressive. It's like too woke.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's gotten to the point
Is
where
that what the population wants?
no.
Who keeps
Absolutely
voting?
not.
Who's voting for him?
Morons.
Fairies are voting for all these shit over here too.
Yeah, same shit. Like literally the woke tards here.
Yeah.
That like the green-haired whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, who are I don't know what they're doing. They're walking around aimless.
Yeah, no one knows.
Just lunatics.
Yeah.
It's the same people over there that like are voting for it. But I think there's no way he's gonna get voted back in because like so many people. All I know is that everyone hates him.
I'll say this: nobody's voting for him; they're just voting against the other guy.
Right. Against him.
Oh, right. So they don't want the Conservatives to win. So they don't necessarily like Trudeau, but they say
Nobody
rather
likes
just
Trudeau.
hate the other guy more.
Less of the
Yeah.
less of the evil. Yeah.
It's
That's
the lesser
probably
of
the
two.
that's probably Biden as well. Like no,
Oh,
one-
sure
it
same
is.
shit.
Biden can't talk.
Nobody's voting for
He
him; they're
can't-
voting
he
against
cannot
Donald Trump.
String a sentence together.
Yeah, of course you
There
can.
is no way that guy even knows what time it is.
It's almost elder abuse what they're doing to him.
It is
Like imagine
outrageous.
that was your grandfather,
embarrassing.
and they're parading him around at 86 years old, and
He's
it's like,
the
let the guy rest, man.
Leader of the free world, man. This is so
is a big fucking
embarrassing,
problem.
man. Because
He
we're
can't
all part
wipe
of
his
the
own-
free world,
Yeah.
Australia. And like, what is that, dude? Come on.
It's elder abuse.
Our RFK looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I would vote for him.
I'd vote
He's
of
a
the
G.
three. Of the three, RFK is the most reasonable. Even Trump's like nearly 80.
But at
Can't
least
they,
he can-
put an age cap on these people?
They should. They should be doing
Surely 75 is the maximum.
that. 65, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, they have a minimum. You should have a maximum.
Yeah. But they're all over that maximum, so they're not going to vote for it.
Of course they're not. When you have power, it's so delicious and so tasty. The last thing you want to do is give it up.
Yeah.
Once you have it, you don't wanna
Very,
give
very
it up.
That's it.
tasty.
Very tasty.
Very tasty.
Very
I
tasty.
love this day.
Brother, very tasty. What? Because I've got I do a generalized sort of Middle Eastern Arab accent. What is this? Do you? Are there details about the Persian accent that are different to other areas of the Middle East?
Oh, for sure.
What's-
Persian specifically is very different from Arab.
Okay, so
very
what's
different.
how would you distinguish the Persian accent to
Just anybody.
another Middle Eastern
Another
or
fucking
Arab?
immigrant.
Yeah.
It's like we were mentioning earlier. I don't think we were recording at the time, but we were talking about Indian head bobble versus Persian head bobble.
Yeah.
So Indian head bobble is it's more like it's bounty,
Sure. Yeah.
but Persian head bobble, it's not the head bobble, but it's they still do a similar head movement for similar things. So it's like Indian head bobble would be like, yeah, like sure, right? Persian would be like, okay. It's like just to one side.
So just to one side and
Yeah.
slower.
Fine.
Yes, brother. You can trust.
Yes. See that's
Trust
that's
me,
Arab though. The Arab is different.
okay.
Persian is more like it's more smooth. Like it's nice. He's very like that.
Oh, okay.
He's like
It's
very,
nice. It's
very calm. You know, he's very
Calm,
more
bro.
so like that. You
Do
know?
you say brother a lot? Or?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like
So that's more of an
brother,
Arab.
like, but like Arabs say brother, like brother.
Yeah.
But they say, I think Egyptians more like they say more of the brother.
Okay.
But like Persians, they'll be like, yeah, like my friend, like
my friend.
come on, hey buddy.
My friend.
They say buddy.
Good deal.
Yeah,
My
buddy, come
friend.
on. You want best deal? We have best deal.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah,
I
that's
give you.
closer to Indian than Arab.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
well, because they're more similar. They're like I feel like because Iran is in Asia.
Yeah.
I feel like we're Asians. I feel more weirdly enough. I feel more Asian than Middle Eastern in a way, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Because we're so well. I mean, to be honest, we're all similar. The whole area is very similar.
Very.
In terms of food and culture and fucking whatever, except for China. China, they're not musical like we are, and like India and all the Arabs are. Their food is way different.
China's
Like an anomaly.
when you go from India to China, the culture changes
Super
dramatically.
different.
Whereas the
Yeah.
culture around
Like-
Pakistan and
Yeah.
Afghanistan,
Right, Kurds,
all of
fucking
that. That's
Turkmen-
similar.
yeah,
Similar.
very
Because
similar.
even India is not. Only the British said, "Oh, this is a country." It's all different language. Every
Yeah.
state has a different language, different culture, even different religion. It's more like the European Union or the Middle East. It's just they've said it's a country.
Yeah,
It's very different. It's very diverse within India.
I know, right? Yeah, that's the trippy part, and that's people always generalize Arabs with Persians.
Yeah.
And that's like the common mistake people make is like even to this day, people are like, yo, man, like, so like, are you Arab? Like you speak Arabic? It's a common thing that happens a lot because, I don't know, which is weird because there actually are more like Iranian people in the world than a lot of other countries. And we found that out recently with the list of like highest population of Persians or Iran itself has, it's like top 20 population in the world.
It's a lot of people. It's a big country.
It's nuts. And so that's why I'm always confused. Like, how do more people not know about Persian people? Like Iranians.
Can you explain to me the history of from when Persia became Iran and how?
No way. I don't know shit about that stuff.
Oh, you don't know?
A little
Okay.
bit. Like I don't actually know the exact details of it, but I do know about like how before the revolution in 1969 or 79, sorry.
Yeah.
How it was way more progressive and there's like, you know, women on the beach and like no one had to wear hijabs and stuff like that. Like I know basic stuff like that. But in terms of like back in the day, like going back to Persia,
Yeah.
there's like so much deep history. Like I just haven't really dived into, to be honest.
fair
It's not that it's not interesting to me, but I don't know. there's certain things you just don't like really
Sure.
gravitate towards as much.
Because
it's still cool to know, but
a lot of people from Iran will say that they're Persian first before saying Iranian.
yeah, well, which is true. That's why I always say that.
Yeah.
Even in my jokes, I'll be like, yo, like a Persian do this, or like Persians are like I'm Persian, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I actually had this one joke in the last special I did. I go like, I'm Persian or Iranian. I like to say Persian just in case. Sorry, I like to say Persian. It sounds nicer just in case.
Okay, that's funny.
And then I go like, you have to be sure, because when people ask me what my ethnicity is, and I tell them I'm Persian, they're always like, ooh, that sounds exotic. What is that, European? Like, is that perfume? Like, it's more, it's more like soft or whatever. But like when you say Iranian, it's more like, oh, like, well, it's like Iran, like it's more like threatening. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's why you said.
That's why generally I feel like a lot of other Persians, from my knowledge, also say like they're Persian.
Yeah, okay.
But then like there are the Iranian people, some of them who like they come at you and they're like, yo, like I don't know what this Persia thing is. It's not Persia, it's Iran. Like,
yeah, okay.
like, like say Iranian, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I just think Persian sounds better.
It does sound cool.
And also, there's a negative connotation.
Like the cat?
Yeah, exactly. Literally. That's Maz Jobrani's joke, too, like originally, where he's like, yeah, like, have you know Maz Jobrani?
Yeah, of course.
The Axis of Evil.
Yeah.
Axis of Evil tour he did, like, whatever, how many years ago? His whole bit about Arabs versus Persians, we were talking about what the difference is. He does it very well. He goes like, like Persians very smooth, like they shoot heroin. We're very like calm, like very, he does that whole out, and then Arab very very angry, like very like
Okay.
like
okay.
cooking, yeah, like that's his bit, which is true. It's true. But anyway,
That's cool, man.
yeah. But he, where's I going with this? About the Iranian thing. Forgot. You were saying about, what was I saying?
I can't
Why did I bring up
remember.
Maz Jobrani? Sorry?
I can't remember either.
Fuck. God damn it.
Yeah. Got brain fog.
It's been too long, man.
Do you want? Can we get one out real quick?
Yeah, should we? Rub one out for the boys? No, I was saying, because Iranian has a negative connotation to it because of like what's happening in the country and like over on the news, like in the media over like the past 20 years or so, after 9/11 especially, like there's just been a negative connotation towards it. Even
Sure.
because I also went through that when I was like 7, but nonetheless, when I saw that, I thought, oh man, Iranian, like people like, terrorists, like you think about these things.
Yeah.
So then it's like growing up, I was like, like not many people know us, those people, as Persians, but I'd rather just associate myself as a Persian from now on.
Fair enough.
And so that's where it kind of came from, I think, in terms of my experience. But yeah, in terms of like the history of like how it went from Persia to Iran, I think it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe you
look
can
it up.
Google it,
Yeah,
but
okay.
I think some
Sure,
crazy
someone in
shit
the
went down.
comments will.
Someone in the comment, hopefully, if anyone's watching this. But yeah, no, I it is very rich history for sure. I know that. But in terms of like, so you were asking about the difference between Arabs and Persians. Yeah, kind of like what I mentioned from Maz. It's more like that. It's very like, Persians very, very smooth, like, yeah, very nice. Okay. Yes, thank you, okay. But Arab is like, yo, brother, like, no problem, no, we can make happen, okay. You want something, brother? Don't worry. Okay, I got it. It's like, a little bit more pace,
Okay.
More energy.
More aggression.
a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And that's also the end of what I was gonna finish was the end of that joke I have. What I was mentioning earlier that I did on stage before. I'll be like, if you don't know who Persian people are, I say we're pretty much like beta Arabs. A little more quiet and less aggressive, whatever. And then I'm like, and then I go like, I said that at a show one time. This Arab guy got up in the back. He's like, I'm not aggressive. And I'm like, oh shit, bro. Like, okay, I'm sorry, Abdul, right?
Way to prove it.
Yeah, way to prove it, right? Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Oh, okay.
The difference between the two.
Cool. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I don't know
little
if that makes
subtle
sense, but-
differences in India as well. So there's stereotypes for each of the different states and cultures within them. So North Indians and Punjabs they're considered, they'd maybe like the Arabs, they're the rest of India sees them as aggressive, and
Sure, yeah.
that's what my grandmother said when I was going to Delhi. She's like, "Be careful, don't get in a fight."
Really?
Yeah, they're apparently aggressive.
Oh,
And then Gujaratis are supposed to be very shrewd businessmen.
yeah, they are.
They-
One of my
they
boys
are.
is
They do-
Gujarati
they
and he's
all
fucking
do
got a
extremely
diamond
well.
business, so.
Yeah, they're all loaded.
Yeah.
Bengalis as well, and then I don't know what the stereotypes are.
Bengali?
The place where Bengali, so yeah, from Bangladesh.
Oh, Bangladesh, right.
But then it's also there's a Bay of Bengal. There's the geography is also. I'm not an expert. But so
That's the theme of
Maharashtra
this
is where
episode.
I'm
We're just
from.
not experts at all.
Yeah, there's so
Just so
much
you guys
in these
know.
areas. Yes. Theme of this episode
Yeah.
for sure.
Sorry, you
because
saying?
I always say that on podcasts because there's always invariably you say something wrong by accident and someone in the comments sends you an essay saying how mad they are. So look, I'm not an expert. But Maharashtrian, which is I don't actually know what the stereotype of that's where my family's from.
Where?
Maharashtra is the state
Maharashtra?
west of the western part of India. So it has Bombay, Mumbai, and Pune. And I'm not sure what the stereotype of Maharashtrians is. We're the best.
You are the best.
That's what. That's
You're the
stereotype.
best, brother.
We are number one of India.
Okay.
Number one of India,
Yeah.
Bombay.
Neel
Mumbai.
Kolhatkar.
Neel Kolhatkar.
Kolhatkar, sorry.
Kolhatkar.
Neel Kolkata.
Not quite.
Neel
Not quite.
Kolhatkar.
Kolhatkar. Yes.
Kolhatkar. Neel Kolhatkar. That's interesting. That's good. You ever been back?
Sorry?
You ever been back?
Yeah. Yeah, a few times. I mean, I was born here. I grew up here. I've been to, the last time I went was 2018. It was good. It's very different.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
What's the biggest culture shock being there compared to
Just the amount of people everywhere all the time. Particularly in Mumbai. Just millions of people in such a actually densely populated area. There's just a constant traffic jam. There's noise. It's just a shock to the senses. Just how many people are around.
That's wild.
Have you been to India?
Nah, man. I really want to go. Bad.
Yeah, it's
One
cool.
day.
It's booming. There's a
heard.
lot of young people and
Yeah, well,
there's a big comedy scene there, and I might actually be going there later this year to do some shows. I'm not sure.
hell yeah.
And there's a vibe about India. It's growing as a country. The economy is growing very quickly.
More than they already have grown. There's already fucking most
so they're
people in
growing
the world.
more than China right now.
Bro, how many? They're
How
just
much more?
raw dogging like crazy.
They're
over
just
there.
fucking, man. They're just they can't
Jesus,
stop.
man. The Kama Sutra just really getting
Well,
into it.
Look, man. We did write that book.
That's true.
So no,
Live
I
up to
think
the
actually they've now finally stalled in population, but yeah, they overtook China as
No,
the
I
most
know.
populous country in the world. 1.5 billion, dude. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, China's like 1.3, I think now, or 1.4.
Yeah, China, because of their one child, no one's having kids in China apparently.
True.
They're all just at home and lying down.
Good. They won't take up the sidewalks anymore.
There's a lot. There's enough Indians and Chinese, man. Maybe they should stop having kids.
But at some point, Uber Eats drivers are going to be more than people.
I mean, there's a lot of Indian and Chinese students in Australia. It's actually a lot of tension.
Between those two students?
No, between people who've been here for longer, and then
Oh, right.
because also it's increased the. So after COVID, what happened? The government brought in 1 million international students, all from different parts of the
Holy.
world, but a lot were from China and India, and then because there's all these people mainly concentrated in the capital cities, everyone's looking for a place to stay, so it boosted the rents a lot. So for a lot of people, they can't afford rent, and they've had to go homeless and all sorts of things. So there's all this tension in the cities here where people don't like the students, even though it's not their fault. Look, if the opportunity is there to come, they're going to come. As the government shouldn't have brought that many, it shouldn't have allowed that many people in. Regardless, it's not a racist thing. It's just sheer numbers. That's just ridiculous.
Well, it's also you're not really helping out your own citizens
Exactly.
who are from here.
It's
Same with Canada. Same thing. Like they're
Yeah.
just letting in anybody.
there's a rate at which it's practical, and the rate is now too high.
And there's a thing. I was a video I watched about like even in New York, they're letting in so many people. All these like the immigrants are just literally taking over these buildings, and not working but getting paid, but then real Americans, actual New Yorkers, like who are trying to work, but they're homeless, they don't help those people. They're
Yeah, I
helping
know what's-
more the people who
it's-
are from a different country.
It just
I'm like,
seems crazy. I
What the
don't
fuck
know,
are you guys
I don't
doing?
know why? Look,
It's wild.
It's not even compassionate at that point because
No,
you're not
it's
actually giving
delusional.
them a good life,
Yeah.
and you're hurting the quality of life of everyone in that country. So it's just not practical, and I don't know why.
It's delusional.
Yeah,
Completely bananas.
pretty crazy.
Yeah. Just bananas walking around, not knowing what's going on with green hair, you know?
Yeah, it's
Just-
not just them because they're. I think they're 2% of the population.
Oh, I
maybe.
know.
But it's just a lot of, you know what it is? It's like really rich people who already live in the gated community, and they want to feel good about themselves because maybe they think, oh, I inherited this wealth and I need to do something good. So then they vote for all these things that they think are good. They sound good. So like defunding the police. I mean, who the hell thought that was a good idea? That's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard, right? But all these people, these activists, they think, oh, that sounds good. That'll help because the police are racist. And
Yeah.
no, you need law and order. You need people to actually police crime.
Yeah.
And now they've actually made they've actually made the world worse for people of color and for working class people. So their policies
Yeah.
are not compassionate. So
That's facts. 100%.
Trump's gonna win.
Well, that's why we need order back in the office. That's true though, because they're not realizing that they're actually making things worse by, like you said, the working class people. They're just getting the end of the stick here.
Yeah,
they're,
man.
they're not getting nothing out of this.
Exactly. No one.
Completely not in their favor at all.
No
and then these people are virtue signaling, thinking that they're actually helping the cause, when really they're making it worse. And
doesn't
being
help
selfish
anyone.
about it. It doesn't help anybody.
Doesn't help
And
anyone.
also,
at
it's like,
all.
what's gonna happen when you run into trouble? Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters? No,
I mean, at this point,
might as well.
might as well, right?
Might as well. But that's the stupidity. Is like, seriously though, what happens if, like, people still have guns and they're stabbing more people
Yeah.
and there's violence? So what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna be like, nah, police is racist. I'm not gonna call them. What are you gonna do in that situation?
Yeah, it's insane. When I saw all
Do you
that,
not think about these things?
that was insane, dude. That the fact that people were actually that they wanted that,
it's retarded.
dude. It's people who've never grown up in poorer neighborhoods.
Or yeah,
Because
they're
they-
privileged.
They think, oh, the poor neighborhood, it's just the racist police just beating up black people for no reason. I mean,
No, bro.
maybe 1 out of 100 do that, and of
Sure.
course, they gotta. Those people have to get in trouble, and that's
Yeah.
what wasn't happening. So that's fine. But then to defund the entire police is the most insane thing I've ever heard. I mean, it's just crazy.
It's a
just-
real thing,
it's
man.
beyond belief.
It's a real thing, and that's why more people are just like, stealing shit and not getting caught, because police aren't even like going. They're like, if it's not like a crazy death or something like that, police
Yeah.
is just like, yeah, but we can't.
And who
go.
would want to be a policeman now?
That's what I'm saying. That too.
You can't do anything. You
Yeah.
can't. I mean, everyone is looking at you, and if you make the slightest mistake, I mean, these are
can't call anyone
You've gotta-
gay anymore.
you
Like,
can't- you
what
can't-
the hell, man?
can't do anything anymore. No,
Can't do anything anymore.
But you've got a millisecond to make a decision, because you think about this: if you live in America, you got to assume everyone has a gun because it's America.
True.
And so you're telling someone, you're just trying to do your job. It's a traffic stop, something like that. You're telling them, hey, I need to search you, or I need to do this, because it's your job. You got to be able to do that. And then they're getting aggressive, and then they've put their hand here. Well, what are you supposed to do? You've got a millisecond to risk. Maybe they don't have a gun, but you're going to take that risk. You kind of have to shoot. I mean, it's harsh,
yeah.
and it's sad to think about it,
I
but
know.
it's just
What else
there's
are you
no
gonna do?
practical. No one thinks about the practical reality of this, and they think we can create this utopia where there's never any violence and never any crime, and everyone gets along. In a big city, there's always going to be some crime, and
Always.
you need a police force, and they need to have the benefit of the doubt. Doesn't mean they go unchecked, but
Yeah. Everyone lives in a marshmallow world. That's why.
literally,
Bubble world.
yeah,
Bubble. You know those bubble wrap?
yeah.
Doing bubble? Yeah.
There's a bit of that. Yeah,
They're living in a bubble ball.
in a big, one of
Big,
those
one,
big,
big bubbles.
just
Yeah.
rolling around
Rolling
in a big bubble ball,
shielded.
shielded from reality.
Because those people didn't grow up with hardships.
Yeah, I think there's a definitely
There's definitely
an
a
element of
correlation.
that. Yeah,
They're abolish police. I'm like, you never had.
you've never
to deal
needed
with
the police.
You never needed them,
Yeah,
and you
so-
never dealt with them.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's just annoying. I don't know. So much to it.
That one
man.
in particular, that one's insane.
That one's insane.
That one's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking. I don't know. There's just so much.
Like I
deep.
feel bad for police now, because
Yeah,
that's a tough job. They put
It is
their
tough.
life on their line, and now what do you mean?
I know. It's just, man. That's why social media, for that reason, is in a way toxic because of the way they get portrayed. You can
the
easily
one time
fabricate.
and that person who did that to George Floyd, horrible.
Right.
That was terrible. But then you never. Where are the videos where the police are actually doing all the good things? Because 99.99% of what they do is good. They're catching a criminal. They're keeping us safe.
I know.
Those videos never go viral. The only video that goes viral is when they've messed up. So
It's literally like
Just
the
can't do-
opposite of showing the highlights on social media. You're showing the highlights of the worst shit.
yeah, it's just.
But
the
you know
lowlights.
it's not true. Like a girl who posts like and does the like fucking, the what's it called, like the editing softwares where they like, edit their bodies,
Yeah.
like their curvy hips, perfect, love handles,
Yeah.
proper angles, right? Like up, making their boobs bigger or whatever, nicer, or like their neck. You know what I'm saying? Lips, jawline.
Sure.
It's the kind of same idea. Where like they're just heightening, they're making you feel like this is what it is.
Yeah.
When really it's not. It's catfish.
Complete.
This whole thing's catfish,
total catfish.
and that's
That's funny. They
What-
should actually show the highlights of the police
like
every week. Like, this is a highlight reel, guys.
it's like
Here we have Officer Johnson arresting a burglar and just doing all these good things.
it's like an NBA hoops mixtape.
Yeah.
Just fucking
But just them actually doing
them
good-
actually doing a
good
really
stuff.
good job.
That
Just
was
killing
cool.
it.
Yeah.
Literally killing it.
literally killing it.
Yeah. Smashing it. Yeah, that'd be interesting. They should do that. Imagine seeing a fucking officer's like mixtape, like a highlight mixtape. He's crushing, just
It's
going
their
around the
show
corner.
reel. It's their show reel.
Freeze, bitch. Yeah. No, see, that's what social media is good for. Show
Yeah.
that shit, but they never do.
No, they never
Because
do.
always the negative shit
It's
gets shown
outrage
more.
and- yeah.
It's always outrage porn. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the shit that people love the most, which is weird. Sick people out here. Human beings, we're fucked.
We are.
We like the dark, just bad shit. I don't know why. Well, also I feel like we've been conditioned to like, or not like, but be more gravitated towards more controversial shit. Because it's also
because it's more exciting. So
but why is it more exciting? Because we have access to so many things already in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to work for. But like back in the caveman days, like they had to go and hunt for food. Now you don't have to move an inch. Right now, I could just do this, and we'll get some fucking little suck jeet with his
we'll
thing
get some
rolling in.
Uber Eats. Yeah.
Uber Eats, fucking drop off some fucking Thai food, Thai elephant food,
Yeah.
and then
It's a good life.
right. But you think it is.
Well, yes and
But,
no, because we got a lot of material wealth, but we're devoid of any real connections and spirituality and all those things. We're now poor in. So
Yeah,
we have plenty of food, we have shelter, but we're all everyone's lonely, everyone's got mental illness. So trade-offs, I guess.
yeah. But no,
Would you rather be depressed and well fed or happy and hungry? That's the
you can be both. It's possible.
yeah.
Okay, here's the thing, because it's so accessible. Everything's so accessible and easy. Everyone's lazy.
Yeah.
Because of that, even with Ubers and stuff like, it's fine. Like there's also room for advanced technology and like making advancements to help people live a better life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fine. But I feel like it's got to the point where everything's way too accessible that like no one's trying. No one has purpose. No one has like urgency as much. to do things. It's like almost pulling teeth. It's like, oh, I gotta go to the gym. Oh, I gotta. And I'm saying it for myself too. Like I'm saying just in general how I feel like because of social media in a way and like technology in that realm, I feel like it's made people lazier. And
Yeah.
just in general, right? The general vibe is like no one's really as like driven or like motivated. That's why a feeling I get from others at least. It's like you really have to do a cold plunge just to get a spark of motivation. Like that's fucked.
It's a bit extreme.
Like why do we need that?
The cold plunging thing is.
It's like having to do shit like that.
Yeah.
Is wild to me.
Yeah,
Like, it's good because I know it does help, but it's like that. That's the thing because everything's so comfortable. You have to like put yourself into suffering.
Yeah, we're not starving anymore. And
that's what
we're
I'm saying.
not
Exactly.
at war. But look, that might change. Looking at the world.
I mean, maybe. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
So you're saying, maybe we should have a war and be
I'm not
starving
saying shit,
again?
bro. I'm just here having a good time. Anyway, but let's talk about some comedy though. I was gonna ask about your special. You have a special. You had a special that just came out.
Yes,
recently.
I do.
And what's it called?
Villain Era.
Villain Era.
Yeah,
that's cool. Why'd you name it Villain Era?
Well, Villain Era was trending online, and it refers to just when you're going through an era where you don't really care, and I think that was appropriate for some of the material. And well, one of the jokes in the special is it's very different when a man goes through a villain era. When a woman goes through a villain era, men get ghosted. When a man goes through a villain era, women start disappearing. Like they made documentaries about men who went through their villain era. But you know what? True. At this point in my career, I don't really care whether it's true crime or comedy. I just want to be on Netflix.
Hey, man, at least you're honest.
Is what it is.
That's good. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. It's a catchy name too, and that actually does make sense. I know about it. It's a cultural thing. Yeah, it's a cultural thing. It's smart. Like, I mean, I guess because you're also on social media, this is our era of literally of being on top of trends. I feel like there's a lot of value in making people feel like you're cultured about the culture. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a good name. But what's like most of the material that you were going for? Was it based off? Is that the theme? Is more of like villain era-esque type stuff?
There was some darker jokes in there. It was still very fun and lighthearted and comedic, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was just the broad theme was mischievous and a bit a touch of villainous nature. So,
what are your inspirations?
My comedic inspirations, like who or
just in general, like in terms of your humor and also people you look up to. That
well, my favorites right now are Louis C.K. and Shane Gillis. I think they're the top of the game for sure. Louis C.K. just the longevity as well. He just every special he comes out with just bangers,
fire,
back to front bangers, and it's so clever the way he writes, the way he can just go from one idea to the other. To the next. I think he's just a genius. Growing up, I loved Russell Peters, and then Chris Rock was my guy growing up. Love Chris Rock. His specials from late 90s to 2000s were just the energy, the rock star vibe, the cultural things he'd talk about, but then also the gender things he'd talk about. I mean, he's just on top of his game. So good. So I'd say those four to this day have always been. Now, like Shane's probably the new one.
Yeah. You like Schultz?
Yeah, I like Schultz too. Yeah.
He's my favorite.
Schultz is great. Yeah. Schultz is... What he's done is he's built an empire. Amazing.
It's wild.
Yeah.
That's exactly... He's paved the way for people like us.
Yeah.
Like social media, with stand-up.
Yeah, and he just started by just filming a bunch of crowd work clips and then just slowly grew it to what he is now. It's so cool.
So cool to see.
So cool.
It's just... He's the fact that he's selling arenas now.
Yeah.
It's so wild. It's unbelievable. It's like I saw him go from like theaters to arenas now.
Crazy.
It's like so cool.
It's
the dream too, right? It's like the dream for all of us.
Yeah.
To get to that point.
If you can get to that point, that's so great.
And the only way it's gonna happen these days is through social media.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And you know how it is, right? You're building your following too. Like when would you say that you built like your most following recently? Like, or just in the past like few years, like when was the
I've been slowly building for 10 years, man. I started in 2013
on Instagram,
on YouTube and Facebook. So I originally got a lot of following here in Australia. So I did some Australian videos. Then I made a short film in 2015. Just one in a classroom. And then since then, I've just been gradually building, and I've tried different things. I've done some podcasts. I've done some other things, and just slowly always trying to build, always trying to grow.
That's good, man. Yeah, it's good that you can do impressions and all that shit too. It's like similar to me. Like, I feel like you have that little bit of extra edge where you can do those things.
Totally, yeah.
Make jokes. It's not just stand up.
Yeah.
Which I feel like nowadays you need that element.
Yeah, you need something a bit extra and a niche or something like that.
What's your favorite? Do you like doing sketches or stand up more?
I like them both. Probably if I had to choose, stand up.
Yeah, same.
But I make short films as well, and that's very rewarding when a short film comes together. There's so many moving parts and so many aspects to it. But between sketches and stand-up, I like stand-up.
Yeah.
Stand-up has more ups and downs. You know, you can bomb and have a bad gig, and it's rough, it's lonely, but a good stand-up gig, nothing is like that. It's the best feeling in the world. It's better than any drug.
That's
Not
true.
that I've done too many drugs.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But sketches are all pretty... Usually you post a sketch and it'll either do okay or it'll do quite good. But the feeling of being in the moment, being live with the audience, the energy there, that's nothing compared to that. Nothing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling.
Unbelievable.
You almost can't even explain it. It's so euphoric.
Yeah, it's a drug.
It's a drug.
It's
yeah.
a drug.
I know.
It's so cool.
Yeah. No, I love doing both of them too. But in terms of short films, how'd you get into the short films?
I come from an acting and a filmmaking background. So when I was a teenager and then out of high school, I did a lot of short courses in filmmaking. And for a while, I really wanted to get into filmmaking and do acting. But I mean, looking at the film industry now, I'm like, I'm not sucking Harvey Weinstein's dick.
Why, man?
Maybe Diddy,
Yeah.
but not Harvey.
Yeah, no, maybe both. I don't know. Yeah, man, that's wild. Have you always dreamt of acting in like on movies and like
For a long
stuff like
time, yeah. I think that fell away a few years ago because I don't know. I'm just not inspired by the movies that come out today, man. I'm just. There's a few good ones here and there, but just the industry and everything, it just feels. A lot of people don't like Hollywood, and I'm the same. It just all feels weird, and there's all these
scandals,
weird sex cults going on, and I don't think it's for me anymore. But at least with comedy, as much as it has changed, the guys at the top, I still have so much respect for that. Like I just said, Louis and Gillis, and Bill Burr as well. They're just
The goats.
crushes, man, and I can look up to them and say I respect these guys. They're so much better than me, and I can admire what they've done. But I don't know. I just look at films and Hollywood, and I'm like, it's all right. I don't know if I really respect it. That's all. Yeah,
That's fair. Yeah, yeah. Your mind changes sometimes with those things too. Like, I mean, I can kind of relate. I've always wanted to act, and I do, and I am currently, and I love acting, and I want to do that as well. I want to be in movies and shit, but yeah, sometimes you just I can see how you'd be, what's called like pushed away in a way, or like what's the word? What's the opposite of persuaded?
discouraged.
Discouraged? No. What's the opposite of persuaded? Is there a way?
Dissuaded.
Dissuaded? Is that a word?
I think so. Yeah,
Dissuaded?
yeah. Discouraged.
Discouraged, sure. I can see how you can get discouraged by seeing all this political shit happening
There's that as well.
in that acting world.
Yeah.
It's like, ah, man, I don't want to fucking be a part of this negative energy.
Exactly,
I'm
yeah.
spiritual. Like I believe in the universe. You know, I want to fucking feel good.
Totally.
But this shit's kind of bringing me down, you know? This
Yeah,
energy.
there's a lot of that.
And so I can see why you would feel that way, but it's like at the same time, I don't know, like that's why, once again, I feel like that's why social media is so powerful, because now you can just almost create your own opportunities for not only comedy, but for movies too, right? You can eventually just do your own movie.
Yeah,
And then you won't have to deal with all that stuff.
That's very
You don't
true.
have to suck Harvey or Diddy, you know?
maybe I want to
Just maybe yourself if you wanted,
Okay.
but I'm not here to judge. But that's why I feel like you were talking about like how you don't think there's a boom in comedy.
Yeah.
I think the opposite is true. I think there is.
I think there's a boom in social media, but I don't know if that. There are more comedians now than ever,
Yeah, I agree.
and
Which is good though.
yeah, it is good. It's just a very sort of you don't know what to aim for anymore. Like I know what you're saying is true, where you just want to build the social media as well, but you still want to try to get onto Netflix and things like that, and there's still some things in the mainstream that are worth it, and it's just more. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more just in Australia. The comedy industry is sort of the way it was, and the old guard, they're dying.
Really, you think so?
Yeah, in Australia for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, it's so weird because that's all I hear from even comedians here.
Yeah,
It's like literally the same answer.
yeah.
Isn't that concerning?
It is. It's not a fun environment. It's not nice.
Like you actually genuinely feel that way, like you know when you're around doing the shows or whatever, you get that vibe. That it's like that?
Unfortunately, yes. It's sad, I know, but unfortunately, yes.
Like what's the exact feeling like? And
It's a accumulation of a lot of things. It's the fact that there's been this. I don't want to go into too much details. It'll probably bore you, but
nah, man,
Well,
give me all the details,
all
brother.
right, so in
what is
Aus-
that? Come on, give me details.
in Australian comedy, that there was a monopoly on basically any kind of media opportunities and how people made it in Australian comedy through the Melbourne Comedy Festival, and also a big management company called Token, and they've always had a big control over that. And look, fair play to them. They've sort of built that and managed to appeal to a large portion of the population. But then it started to seem like, all right, the acts that are getting pushed up and the quality of comedy that's being put to the Australian public just keeps diminishing. It's acts that a lot of comedians just don't necessarily respect as comedians. They're fine people, but and because they had such a monopoly and a stranglehold, all these other comedians started getting frustrated, saying, well, why can't I get to that point? Why am I not getting on TV, or why am I not getting these deals, or whatever it may be? And, you know, in America, there's just so many more opportunities. The pie is larger. In Australia, the pie is very small. So there's unfortunately a lot of bitchiness and jealousy and things like that. And this is sort of maybe, I'm talking pre-social media. And that has just continued. That trend has just continued to the point where you ask average Australians, like people in my family who don't do comedy, what do you think of Australian comedy as a brand? They all say, oh, it's weird. American comedians, UK comedians, there's plenty of people on podcasts and things who have said things like, oh, hopefully American comedy doesn't become like Australian comedy. Like the stereotype of Australian comedy is that it's overly progressive, awkward, and weird. And that's actually not what we are, and that's not what most comedians are in this country. But essentially the government, because the festival is government run, the government actually decides in this country which comedian gets famous. And it is frustrating to the nth degree, and you feel powerless and helpless. And yes, you have a route through social media, but after a while it can get pretty exhausting when there's just such a disconnect from the mainstream to the social media space, whereas that's not the case in America. You know, Gillis was, even after being cancelled from Saturday Night Live, they invited him back. He hosted it. They're doing the roast of Tom Brady. It's a bunch of guys who came through the internet. That just doesn't happen here. At least doesn't happen here yet. And it's just I think for myself and a lot of other comedians, it's just kind of frustrating because the means and the market is actually here, but there's just this like oligarchy, these basically a Joe Biden like situation where these old people just won't let go of their favorites and who they like. And I know some of this is a bit vague, but basically it's just a lot of comedians in this country are not satisfied with how they've been treated and how the scene chooses people, and they just don't like it. And there's a lot of people doing good things on social media, but I wish there was just more of that integration and there was just more respect for what people on social media have done and things like that, I guess.
Yeah.
I still absolutely love what I do, and I love what I built with some of the other Comedy Untamed shows and things like that. So just keep hustling. Keep going.
That's it.
That's it, man.
That you should send this clip of you talking about this to the government
Yeah, well,
and just put like hashtag immigrants need jobs.
Yeah, no, they don't actually. They're not diverse. They say all this stuff, but like you ask, you know Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ask, talk to like actually any ethnic comedian. They don't like the scene either.
In Australia, you're saying?
Yeah, which is weird because they all say, oh, we're so progressive and we're so inclusive and we're diverse.
Yeah.
No,
I don't
you're
feel that
inclusive.
at all.
You're inclusive to like rich white gay people, and that's it. That's their version of inclusion and diversity.
That's terrible.
No, no, it's not. They
That's
don't
the
like. They
dumbest
don't
thing.
like. They don't like black people for sure.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Only Ashley. Even
No, I don't think they'd really. They don't like him, bro. We love him.
yeah.
But
that's
yeah.
true because I mean they've also said that they never got booked for like any of those festivals or anything either.
Yeah,
Like this TV and
basically
shit?
the festival circuit runs a lot of things here.
Yeah.
And that's
so weird.
Still
Why?
like a big pathway to just get a lot of status and like appreciation as an act. Yeah, it is weird. It's silly. I think they should just get rid of the festivals altogether.
Like
It's a waste of taxpayer money. There's people who are homeless. Why are we spending all this money to give Hannah Gadsby, who's already a multimillionaire? Like, how about maybe house people who can't eat?
Yeah.
Maybe that's like the real privilege, people who can't eat. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
So hey, but at least Hannah Gatsby's getting a Netflix deal, right?
Yeah,
They can't eat, but Hannah Gatsby
exactly. That's more important. That's fighting real.
fighting the real fight.
That's the real moral issue of our day.
You know what's interesting? Wait, so in terms of, you're saying festivals, you're talking about like the local festivals or like TV stuff?
The local festivals.
Oh, like Melbourne, like
Yeah,
Perth,
yeah. But
Adelaide?
they're huge here.
They're huge,
So
I know.
People in Australia have been trained to think the only time to see comedy is in a festival.
Right.
Not a lot of people. It's not a comedy literate
I know.
country in the way that America or the UK is, where people just go to a comedy night regularly. They kind of have a better gauge of what is good comedy. And people in Australia are also a bit standoffish and kind of don't want to laugh and come in with their arms crossed. And particularly older Australians, I've found. I feel like younger guys are pretty cool, but older Australians will literally come in with their arms crossed. Be like, all right, let's see what this comedian has to say. They come in with the worst energy, dude. And it's so fucking annoying. It's like, why did you pay to come here and be mad?
Even though like
What are you doing?
even
Why
though-
are you here? Go home. Go home, take your fucking Viagra and fuck your wife, bro. Like, why are you at the comedy show?
you feel that way even if like when you go on stage and like you're bringing the energy, you still feel like they do that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Not. I'm not talking like, I'm not saying every single person,
Yeah,
but
of course.
yeah, a lot of times, yeah.
That's so interesting, man, because that's been my exact experience
That's
too.
exact. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. It's just
No, I know. I remember you said that to me. Remember that so whoever's listening or watching this, when I was in Sydney last, that's where Neel Kolhatkar's from. That show I did,
yeah.
where it was like, I told you after, I was like, that was one of the weirdest sets I've ever done in my entire career. And it was in Sydney. And it was weird because typically you guys said that was a good room, which it is. It is a good
I
room.
know, usually, yeah.
And it was fine. I'm just saying, I don't know what it was. Like, as soon as I mentioned something about like gender, it wasn't even bad. I was just like, I don't think my stuff's offensive to that
Yeah.
extent of like what people think is offensive or dark. But as soon as I mentioned it, bro, like you could just feel the turning on me. You could feel them turning on me. And it was actually, it was all white people too.
Yeah, I mean, that's
But
what happens.
The
yeah.
one black guy, the one African guy, am I right? I remember vividly. He was enjoying it still. He was laughing. But the rest of them were like, bro, the girl in front of me literally was like, I think I mentioned something about her friend. I was like, oh, you look like you use pronouns the most out of everyone else here. I'm like, I don't know. I think that's kind of like harmless. Like, nothing wrong with that. It's just like, I'm like taking the piss, right? As soon as I said that, her friend, I remember, she just went, oh, head in her hand, dude. Friend beside her, rolling eyes.
Yeah.
This couple over there, like cringing. I'm like, bro, Is it that sensitive? Are you guys that pressed? I don't know what it is, bro. Over here, it's like so woke to the point I don't even think they know what the fuck they're woke about. They're just following suit.
Yeah, look, some crowds you can get the really hyper progressive crowds, and you can get older crowds that are just, they're the opposite. They also just don't understand.
They just don't care.
They don't care. They
They're
don't
just like,
give you
no.
any energy. So it's just like,
No.
I know that there is a potential for like good, normal, younger crowds to come out. But, what happens is a lot of guys my age, they just hate Australian comedy. And so when Theo Von comes, when Shane Gillis comes, when Dave Chappelle comes, they go see them. They're like, I've seen my comedy for the year, and I don't blame them. But what happens is the local scene suffers.
Yeah.
And it's you're performing now, especially because of the economy as well. It's like, dude, no young people don't have any money. So rooms that used to get 50, 60 people get 20, and it's just harder with a crowd. It's still, a good comedian can always perform to a smaller crowd, but it's work. It's not a good vibe when you go in. You got to get them on your side. It's just,
Like you're saying, they're not as primed to laugh
yeah, basically.
off the top. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, like the culture in the U.S. is like amazing.
Yeah, they're primed to laugh.
I
And
love it.
Whenever Americans come to our show, they're just so energetic and fun, and yeah, they're just cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like, yeah, that's true. The odd times there were Americans in the crowd, or even Canadians sometimes. In Australia, I found like they've always been the best audience members.
Yeah, look, that's
But, like-
Australia, like your brother was saying, man, quality of life here, amazing. Quality of comedy audiences, not.
Well, they're just not. They're not. I feel like they're not educated on the etiquette of being in a stand-up audience.
Yeah,
That's at least the base. I feel like people in America understand.
Yeah.
Like you either go, you laugh, or you don't laugh. But
Yeah.
most of the time, you go to a comedy show, you're gonna go because you want to laugh. But I feel like the vibe or the sense I get here is people just go because they're like, I don't know, like.
Okay, people in America go ready to laugh, wanting to laugh. People
Wanting
in
to get
Australia-
roasted,
People
too.
in Australia are like, you have to earn my laughter.
Yeah.
So
True.
it's just a different kind of mentality going in.
It's
Because
more-
you can if you get a crowd on your side in Australia, they're hot, they're great.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
They just, sometimes you need to earn that, whereas in America you kind of just have that, and it's,
For the most part, yeah.
for the most part, I'm sure there's some places in America
Oh,
if you
for
go
sure.
and
You'll eat just as much shit.
outside of some of the bigger cities. I'm sure if you go to a small town somewhere, it'll be
Even in the big cities, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's just you're just not. You won't be good,
sure.
and you're gonna tank anyway. But
Yeah,
But generally, the vibe is more like, all right, man. Like people are like excited to be out.
yeah,
It's the culture they've built over the years. It's like, oh, like I always say this example in Canada. Even it's not even Canada's not that great either. They don't really have a culture. It's like people are like, yeah. You ask generally people how many times they see comedy. They're like, like once or twice a year max on
Yeah.
average. Like local, like no more than that, right? But America, like I know a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, like what should we do this weekend? Like bar, club, or a comedy show. Like comedy show is at the top
it's
of the
a
list.
regular thing.
It's a
people go
regular
to.
thing.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
But Canada, no. Australia, definitely not. UK, I think is
UK,
more.
yes, it is.
UK is
It is.
more
It's
prime.
good in London.
It's much
It's
better.
really
yeah, UK is good.
I think I was even thinking about the geography of those, particularly the biggest scenes in the world, New York and London. They're both very have a high population density, so there's
More traffic is
tens of thousands of people on one block.
yeah.
And so you can have a comedy club where people can walk to.
Yeah.
And also the weather isn't the best in those cities, so there's less options for what you can do. In Australia, you can go to the beach till night. You can sit at a nice bar and watch the sunset. And
Patios.
there's just other things you can do. And the weather's so good here. So
True.
it's not, you can see why in New York and London, really good comedy scenes were built there and really good art scenes. Whereas there's just a lot of things working against that in Australia, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, I complain about this a lot. I still love it here. I love the country. I don't think I can, I'll move at this point in my life. Like I said, my family, friends, my girlfriend are all here. But yeah, I wish I do wish Australia was more comedy literate.
Well, the thing is, the good part about all this. Well, first of all, I think the net positive of what we just talked about audiences being tougher here is that it does help you get tougher as a comedian.
For sure, yeah.
It builds that thick skin more than anywhere else. So that part's
phases
good.
me ever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
why it's actually better in a way. Like especially if you go from here to like in America, for example, like you won't be phased as much. Like you're more comfortable. I think in that sense it's good. You build more comfortability on stage, and just like being, just being present and being okay with like
Totally
eating shit on stage, right? But also the good part about this and not having a culture here as much is that it's almost up to you, like your duty almost, like as a comedian here. It's like you have an opportunity to build that culture in a way.
Totally.
I don't know how, but like it's up in the air.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Anyone can make it happen at this point.
I'm trying to get some rooms running in Western Sydney, which is that's known as the sort of working class but very ethnically diverse area of Sydney, and I think ethnics come with the best energy, bro. Whenever you have ethnics in the crowd, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a sick show.
Yeah.
I know that's probably kind of racist, but dude, it's just my experience.
It's not. I don't think it's racist because I think it's also my experience.
Yeah.
There's no. It's true because I've done black rooms before too.
Yeah, they sound
not a lot,
so cool.
But I've done a couple, and I'm like, these are the best audience I've ever been in front of. Yeah, and you hear every comedian talking about this.
Yeah.
And it's true. Because they just love to laugh. Like, they're just a part of their culture.
Indian audiences are amazing. I've never seen any. I thought it was black audiences. Then you go to an Indian comedy show, right? First of all, some of them do it in Hindi. I don't even understand it. And the audience are just on their feet. They're clapping. They're just loving it.
See, that's so amazing.
It's so cool.
That's why I love about, more of the ethnic crowds, too. It's great for that reason. I don't know. Because, like I said, it's not even, at that point, it's not about comedy culture. It's about their own culture. Because that's how they like to act in their own culture.
Totally.
They love to laugh. Love to joke around. Take the piss. Taking the piss.
Taking the piss. Did you say that in Canada?
Taking the piss.
Did you say that in Canada? Taking the piss?
I've learned it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very Australian.
It is. Now, Canada is more like shooting the shit, maybe? I don't know. I mean, that's the equivalent. Shooting the shit? Yeah, shooting the shit is more so.
Yeah.
Taking the piss, same shit.
Taking the piss is good.
I think. Shooting the shit? No, shooting the shit is more like just like hanging out and like fucking around and talking about whatever. Just talking with your boy. Taking the piss is more like, like maybe like taking jabs or like roasting someone or more so.
Yeah. So
like
when someone
around?
says, I'm just taking the piss, I'm just joking around.
Right. Okay.
Fooling around. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Similar. Anyway, that's why I love ethnic crowds too, is because it's the culture. It's like Persians love to laugh.
Yeah.
There's always laughter, always jokes. Everyone's fucking laughing. So in that sense, it's really good. But hey, man, once again, someone's got to build the culture. And like you said, Australia is 10 to 20 years behind usually on everything. Maybe it's coming, because like
I hope so.
Yeah, I do too. Because I want it to go well. Because it helps people like me too. Because it's like, it's like I want to come back and enjoy it. I want to like do more.
Yeah.
Why not? Why the fuck not? And I have seen it because it's like I've had luckily my own fans, like very small. It's my first time doing shows here, coming to the shows, and they seemingly are having a great time. They're having a blast. Like they're just willing to have a good time, and like actually laugh. Like it's not the typical Aussie experience, like with like strangers. But it starts somewhere.
Totally.
And so it is possible.
Let's do it.
Defund the police.
Defund the police. Get it. Learn to laugh.
Learn to laugh. What's your favorite impression to do?
Ooh. Right now, I still love Russell Brand.
Yes,
Russell Brand.
I love Russell Brand very much. In fact, it would be a good point to warm up with it right now and ask you, what is your take on the disposition of the global elite right now and how they're controlling the corporate media, Neema? I want to ask you about that.
I like the slouch. That's funny. I'm gonna do it as Joe Rogan. Yeah, man, like fucking wild, bro. Like, yeah, it's just these fucking monsters at the top just fucking calling shots.
It truly is a monstrosity that we have built a world where average ordinary people feel like they are being subsumed into a system that they do not want to be a part of. A lot like when I was in my 20s, my penis was subsumed into the canal of a lovely young lady as we were doing drugs, watching the canals of Venice. After a stand-up show I did in Italy. I love the Italians. They're very gorgeous, lovely, sexual people. Are you Italian? Do you have any Italian in you?
Yeah, but I fucking love pasta, man. But it makes me feel like shit. Just, Just do the fucking laugh.
That's a good preview. For
Yeah,
what
no,
we're
right?
gonna
Good preview. Yeah, we're doing a skit later. But yeah, man. It's been a good chat, bro.
Been a real good chat, man. This has been. Thank you for having me.
Of course, yo. Thanks for doing it. And man, if you have anything to plug, I mean, just plug your socials.
I got some shows on sale. I'm doing a show in London, so anyone in the UK listening, hit me up. And then my socials, just my name, Neel Kolhatkar, NeelKolhatkar, and got shows on sale in Australia in all the major cities. And then watch my special, Villain Era,
on YouTube.
Yes.
Neel Kolhatkar. Fuck, man, tongue twister.
Kolhatkar.
Neel Kolhatkar.
Neema.
Naz. NeemaNaz.
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 Very
You
nice.
should like swing it this way.
NeemaNaz.
There you go.
Very nice.
Neel
Very nice.
Kolhatkar.
Very nice, NeemaNaz.
Neel Kolhatkar.
We get you good price.
That's it.
Good price for Neema.
Very nice price. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Peace.